Having launched on September 21st, we are just about 1 week into Gundam Evolution's release, so let's check in with how the game is doing. Gundam Evolution released to a lot of hype off of its solid gameplay, and with 5 additional playable units and 4 new maps, there was a lot of content to explore. The game is fun, for me at least. I mostly played Gundam Evolution in a group, but the game is still fun to play alone, and I've played plenty of games solo. Gundam Evolution is fast-paced, and produces a lot of exciting moments when people get multi-kills or secure an objective at the last second. According to Steam, Gundam Evolution hit its peak player count of 55,000 on launch, and seems to be settling between 10,000 and 20,000 concurrent players, depending on the time of day. The number could go up after some issues are addressed, or when Bandai releases their plans for Gundam Evolution's competitive scene. Importantly, the Steam numbers do not include the Japanese community, as they play Gundam Evolution on Bandai's launcher instead of Steam. And Gundam Evolution is also not yet available on consoles. Gundam Evolution has over 9,000 reviews on Steam with a mixed rating, or 51% positive reviews. From a spot check, many players agree that the game is fun, but call out bugs, disconnect issues, or the progression system. From my own experience, I consider this first week of Gundam Evolution as an extra, last-minute beta test. Let's talk about the problems. First, there seem to be issues with people disconnecting, despite their internet being okay, or Gundam Evolution crashing or freezing, and players being unable to rejoin games in progress. Adding insult to injury, affected players also get timeout penalties, preventing them from joining a new game for some time. It's prevalent enough in my experience that there's maybe a 50% chance that someone will disconnect or just leave in a casual game. Ranked games seem to be more stable, but maybe it's just my perception. Another issue is the massive FPS drops that sometimes happen when many players are using abilities at the same time. Gundam Evolution is definitely missing some optimization. Lowering graphic settings does not really help, and I sometimes go from the game limited 120 FPS to around 40 for a few seconds. Another issue is the ridiculous chat censor, which blocks many innocent words, like fun. Meanwhile, players are allowed to choose some offensive usernames. Apart from that, sometimes the chat box does not scroll down all the way, there's a black screen that appears for a few seconds after changing units, the in-game voice chat sometimes doesn't work, and I would say that the prep time before rounds in a game begin, which is around 80 seconds, is too long and can be reduced to save people time. A common complaint with Gundam Evolution is how difficult it is to unlock playable units. It takes just under 2,000 capital, which is the blue currency, to unlock one unit, and there are 5 in total to be unlocked. Capital is not earned after every game, but rather by completing a series of beginner missions. The missions are not particularly long or difficult, but they're time-gated by requiring players to log in for a certain number of days. There are 7 beginner mission sets, and each one has a mission requiring the player to log in for more and more days. You cannot progress to the next set without it. The free season pass rewards give 1,000 capital early on, and another 1,000 towards the end of the pass, which will take a long time for casual players to complete, if at all. It's safe to assume that a player who does all the beginner missions and gets level 58 out of 60 of the season pass will get enough capital to unlock 2 out of the 5 units. And that's not enough, especially considering Bandai wants to release a new unit every season, which is every 2 months. My question is, will free-to-play players ever be able to unlock all of the units? I also disagree with the premise that some players were saying that the locked units are pay to win, or stronger. Maybe if the people saying this had access to the locked units, their opinion would change. Gundam Evolution is a competitive game, so the ranked experience is important. However, ranked progression is virtually non-existent. You play 5 placement games and get put into bronze or silver, and then you can look forward to gaining or losing around 20 points per game, in a system where the ranks are extremely far apart. I won 2 and lost 3 of my placement games, and got put into bronze 2, with a rating of 2,125. The next rank up, Bronze 1, is at 2,550 rating, so I would need to win around 20 games in a row just to move up in Bronze. Silver starts at 3,400 rating, and that will be an even larger climb. The system is obviously broken. Point gains and losses need to be at least tripled, but more reasonably quadrupled to allow players to actually climb the ladder. In addition, if players are consistently winning, wins should award extra points to get the players where they belong on the ladder. Point gains and losses can be reduced at the top end of the ladder. Bandai is aware of at least some of these issues, and will be taking Gundam Evolution down for around 6 hours tonight on September 27th for an emergency maintenance. Details are sparse, but they plan on improving the ranked rating system and fixing the chat filter. As compensation, players are getting 10 supply pod tickets, which are basically loot crates. I also personally hope that the rank ladder is either reset or ranks are adjusted based on a player's current wins and losses. Overall, has the Gundam Evolution launch gone well? While many will say no, I believe that the launch has gone okay. It's common for games to have bugs and issues on release, and it's the developer response that makes all the difference. I've said before that if Gundam Evolution can be around as successful as Paladins or Smite, it will have met expectations, and I think that's achievable. Thanks for watching.